The breaking point. The last transmission. The medical frigate Mercy's Light had served humanity for 12 years without firing a single weapon. It carried no guns, no missiles, and no shields beyond basic meteor protection. Its hull was painted pure white, with massive red crosses visible from thousands of kilometers away. Every communications channel broadcast its status on repeat. Medical vessel, protected under Galactic Convention Article 7, carrying wounded civilians and refugees. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in the main medical bay, surrounded by rows of patients. She had been working for 72 hours straight, moving between beds, checking vitals, and offering comfort where medicine could do no more. The Mercy's Light carried 38,000 souls. Most were refugees from the colony worlds that the Zanari Empire had burned. Families who had lost everything. Children who had watched their parents die. Elderly citizens too frail to fight. Elena paused beside a young boy named Thomas. He was 9 years old, and shrapnel from a Zanari bombing had taken his left leg. He slept now, finally, after days of crying for his mother. His mother was gone, killed in the same attack that wounded him. Elena gently adjusted his blanket and moved to the next patient. The ship's intercom crackled. "This is Captain Rodriguez. All medical staff be advised we have detected Zanari warships on approach. We are broadcasting our protected status. There is no cause for alarm. We are clearly marked as a medical vessel. Remain calm and continue your duties." Elena felt her stomach tighten, but she forced herself to stay focused. The Galactic Convention was clear. Medical ships were absolutely protected. No species in 300 years had ever violated that law. Even in the worst wars, medical vessels passed safely. It was the most sacred rule of civilized warfare. The Zanari ships came closer. Elena could see them now through the viewport, dark angular vessels bristling with weapons. There were 5 of them, cruiser-class warships designed for destruction. They moved into attack formation around the Mercy's Light. Captain Rodriguez's voice returned, higher now, stressed. "Zanari vessels, this is the medical frigate Mercy's Light. We are a protected vessel under Galactic Convention Article 7. We carry only wounded civilians and refugees. We have no weapons. We request safe passage. Please acknowledge." Silence. Rodriguez tried again. "Zanari Command, please respond. We are broadcasting on all frequencies. We are clearly marked. We have 38,000 wounded civilians aboard, including 7,000 children. Under galactic law, you must allow us to pass." The Zanari response came in cold, mechanical tones through the translator. "Human vessel, your people have rejected our terms of surrender. Your species continues to resist Zanari expansion. Therefore, all human vessels are considered military targets." Rodriguez's voice shook. "We are not a military vessel. We are doctors and nurses caring for wounded civilians. We have children aboard, families. We are protected by... Your laws mean nothing to the Zanari Empire. You will be destroyed as an example to other human settlements. Resistance is futile." Elena's blood turned to ice. Around her, other medical staff had stopped working, frozen in horror as they listened. Patients who were conscious began to cry out in fear. The ship's alarm began to wail. Elena grabbed the nearest intercom. "Captain, you need to evacuate the ship. Launch every pod. Get these people." "There's no time, Doctor." Rodriguez's voice was barely a whisper. "The pods can't outrun their missiles. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Elena looked around the medical bay at all the faces. Frightened children, wounded soldiers who had already given everything, families huddled together. She had spent 12 years saving lives. Now she could do nothing but watch them end. She activated her personal recorder, the one she used for medical logs. Her hands shook as she spoke into it. "This is Dr. Elena Vasquez, Chief Medical Officer of the Mercy's Light. The Zanari Empire is about to fire on a clearly marked medical vessel. We have 38,000 wounded civilians aboard. We are unarmed. We are protected by galactic law. We have children here, families. We have done nothing but try to save lives." Her voice broke. "To whoever finds this recording, please tell them we tried. Tell them we begged for mercy. Tell them we had children." The first missile struck the engine section. The explosion threw Alina across the medical bay. Emergency lights flickered on as the main power died. She could hear screaming, the terrible sound of thousands of people who knew death was coming. Alina pulled herself up and moved toward young Thomas's bed. If these were the last moments, she would not let him die alone. She gathered the sleeping boy into her arms and held him close. The second missile hit the medical bay directly. The Mercy's light broke apart in silence, becoming debris that drifted in the cold vacuum of space. 38,000 voices stopped. 38,000 stories ended. The white hall with its red crosses became scattered fragments, a memorial to compassion murdered. The Admiral, who read every name. Admiral Sarah Chen sat in her private office aboard the dreadnought Unbreakable, staring at the priority alert that had arrived 6 hours ago. She had read it 50 times. The words never changed. Medical frigate Mercy's Light destroyed by Zanari forces. All hands lost. Total casualties, 38,000. Black box recovered. Recording attached. Sarah's hands trembled as she activated the recording. She listened to Dr. Vasquez's final message. She listened to Captain Rodriguez begging for the lives of his passengers. She heard the cold Zanari response. She heard the missiles hit. She heard the screaming. When it ended, Sarah sat in silence for a long time. She was 54 years old. She had served in the human fleet for 36 years. She had fought in 7 wars. She had seen death in every form. But this was different. This was something that broke the universe's rules. Her aide, Commander James Park, entered quietly. "Admiral, the casualty list is ready. All 38,000 names." "Bring it to me." "Ma'am, that will take—" "Bring me every name, Commander. I will read them all." The list arrived on a data tablet. Sarah began at the top and read aloud in her empty office. Dr. Alina Vasquez, age 43. Captain Miguel Rodriguez, age 51. Nurse David Kim, age 28. Thomas Chen, age 9. She stopped. Thomas Chen. The same last name as hers. He could have been her grandson. She forced herself to continue. Sarah read for 19 hours straight. She did not stop for food. She did not stop for water. She did not stop when her voice grew hoarse and cracked. She read every single name, speaking them into existence one final time. Sophia Martinez, age 6. Robert Johnson, age 72. Lisa Wong, age 34. On and on, thousands of names, thousands of lives erased. When she finished, dawn light was streaming through her office window. Sarah set down the tablet and stood on shaking legs. She walked to her mirror and looked at her reflection. The woman staring back was someone new, someone whose faith in the rules had died along with 38,000 people. She called an emergency meeting of all human fleet commanders. When compassion became history, 20 admirals gathered in the conference room of the Unbreakable. Their faces were grim. They had all heard the recording. Many had read the names. The mood was dark and dangerous. Before Sarah could speak, the door opened. Ambassador Kelvin, a tall, crystalline being from the Galactic Council, entered with his delegation. His translator hummed softly. "Admiral Chen, the Galactic Council has learned of the tragedy involving your medical vessel. We extend our deepest condolences and assure you that a full investigation will be—" "Tragedy." Sarah's voice was soft, almost gentle. "Is that the word you use for the deliberate massacre of 38,000 wounded civilians on a protected medical ship?" Kelvin's crystalline surface flickered with light patterns. "Yes, well, we understand this appears to be a serious violation of galactic law. However, we must urge restraint in your response. The Council cannot condone any retaliatory action that violates the principles of—" Sarah walked to the wall screen and activated the recording. Dr. Vasquez's voice filled the room. "We have children here, families. We have done nothing but try to save lives." The screaming began. Sarah let it play for 2 full minutes before shutting it off. The silence afterwards felt like death itself. "You want us to show restraint?" Sarah said quietly, turning to face the ambassador. "You want us to show compassion?" She smiled then, but there was no warmth in it, no humanity left at all. "That ship sailed with our civilians, Ambassador. Human compassion died 6 hours ago along with 38,000 people who believed in your galactic laws. What remains is something different, something your council has never seen from us before." Sarah turned to her assembled commanders. The Zanari Empire made a choice. They decided that human doctors, human children, human families are acceptable targets. When mercy dies, the fleets awaken. Across human space, from the inner colonies to the frontier outposts, the mobilization order reached every vessel simultaneously. Captains who had been sleeping were jolted awake. Crews on shore leave were recalled immediately. Ships that had been in dock for repairs launched half-finished. Within 12 hours, humanity's entire military force was moving toward Zamari territory. Commander Lisa Torres stood on the bridge of the destroyer Reckoning, watching her tactical display fill with friendly contacts. Hundreds of ships were converging on the rally point near the border. She had never seen so many human vessels in one place. Dreadnoughts, carriers, destroyers, frigates, and craft she did not recognize. Experimental vessels that had been hidden in classified shipyards. Her communications officer looked up from his console. "Captain, we are receiving the operational briefing now. It's encrypted at the highest level." "Put it on screen." Admiral Chen's face appeared, but Torres barely recognized her. The woman's eyes held something cold and final, like winter arriving early and staying forever. "To all human forces," Chen began, her voice steady. 48 hours ago, the Zanari Empire deliberately destroyed the medical frigate Mercy's Light. They murdered 38,000 wounded civilians, including 7,000 children. They did this knowing the vessel was protected by galactic law. They did this after our people begged for mercy. Chen paused, and Torres saw her jaw tighten. "The Zanari have declared that human lives mean nothing, that our laws are worthless, that our compassion is weakness. They believe they can massacre our most vulnerable and face no real consequences. We will prove them wrong." The star map appeared, showing Zanari space divided into sectors. Red indicators pulsed over population centers. "Your orders are simple. Enter Zanari territory. Destroy everything. Leave nothing operational. Military targets, industrial centers, space stations, communication arrays, shipyards, everything burns. The Zanari Empire will cease to exist as a functioning civilization." Torres felt her stomach tighten. This was beyond anything in standard military doctrine. This was annihilation. Chen continued, "You will broadcast one message on repeat as you advance. The final transmission from the Mercy's Light. Let the Zanari hear what they did. Let them know what is coming for them. Let them understand that humanity tried compassion once, and they killed it." The briefing ended. Torres looked at her crew. Their faces showed the same mix of horror and determination she felt. What they were about to do would change humanity forever, but what the Zanari had done could never be forgiven. "Helm, set course for Zanari border. All weapons online. Broadcast Dr. Vasquez's message on all frequencies." The Reckoning and 600 other human ships crossed into Zanari space. The Zanari Empire realizes. Supreme Commander Thrax of the Zanari Empire sat in his command center on the capital world of Zanar Prime, reviewing tactical reports. His intelligence division had been tracking unusual human fleet movements for the past day. Ships were leaving their normal patrol routes and heading toward Zanari space in unprecedented numbers. "Commander," his sensor chief reported,
We now count over 600 human vessels approaching our border. This is larger than any force they have ever assembled." Thrax's 4 eyes narrowed. "What is their formation?" "That is the concerning part, sir. They are not forming into battle groups. They are spreading out, targeting multiple systems simultaneously, and they are broadcasting something on all frequencies." "What are they broadcasting?" "A recording, sir, from one of their medical ships, the one we destroyed 2 days ago." Thrax felt the first stirring of unease. He had ordered that attack personally. The humans had refused Zanari surrender terms, so he had decided to make an example. Medical ships were soft targets, and destroying one would show the humans that resistance was futile. At least that had been his reasoning. "Play the recording." Dr. Vasquez's voice filled the command center. "We have children here, families. We have done nothing but try to save lives." Then came the sounds of the ship breaking apart, the screaming of 38,000 people dying. Thrax listened without expression, but inside, something shifted. He had destroyed military vessels before, had conquered dozens of species, had waged war for 50 years, but he had never heard anything quite like this. The raw terror in those voices was unsettling. "Sir," his tactical officer interrupted, "the human fleets have crossed our border. They are engaging our outer defenses." "Show me." The tactical display lit up with contact markers. Human ships were hitting 3 separate colony systems simultaneously. But they were not engaging in traditional fleet battles. They were bypassing military targets and striking directly at infrastructure. The first reports came in minutes later. The human fleet has destroyed all orbital stations around Zanari 7. They have bombarded the primary spaceport. The colony's industrial sector is gone. More reports followed in rapid succession. Zanari 12's shipyards have been obliterated. Zanari 9's communication network is offline. Zanari 15 is reporting massive casualties. Their refineries are burning. Thrax stared at the display in growing horror. The humans were not trying to defeat Zanari military forces. They were systematically dismantling every piece of infrastructure that made the Empire function. This was not war. This was extermination. "Send a transmission to the human fleet," he ordered. "Offer to negotiate. Tell them we will discuss terms of—" "Sir, we are receiving a response from the humans. It's just 1 sentence." "What does it say?" The communications officer's voice shook as he read it. "Compassion ends here. No quarter." Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Unbreakable, watching her fleet reports come in. Every human ship was performing exactly as ordered. The Zanari Empire was being taken apart piece by piece. "Admiral," Commander Park said quietly, "we are receiving surrender offers from 17 Zanari colonies. They are willing to accept any terms. They are begging us to stop." Sarah did not look away from the tactical display. "Ignore them. Continue operations." "Ma'am, some of these colonies have civilian populations, non-military targets." Sarah finally turned to face him. "Commander, did the Mercy's Light have military targets aboard? Did Dr. Vasquez carry weapons? Did Thomas Chen, age 9, pose a threat to the Zanari Empire?" Park said nothing. "The Zanari made the rules," Sarah continued. "They decided that civilian status means nothing, that protected vessels are acceptable targets, that children can be murdered without consequences. We are simply playing by the rules they established." "But Admiral, this is justice," Sarah interrupted. "Cold, final, absolute. The Zanari taught us mercy is weakness. We are showing them what strength without mercy looks like." Another report came in. "Ma'am, the Zanari homeworld is requesting direct communication with you. Supreme Commander Thrax wishes to speak." "Put him through." The main screen flickered and Thrax's reptilian face appeared. His 4 eyes held something Sarah recognized: fear. Admiral Chen, Thrax began, his translator rendering his words in flat tones, I request immediate ceasefire negotiations. The Zanari Empire is prepared to offer full reparations for the incident involving your medical vessel. We will... Incident? Sarah's voice was soft and dangerous. You called the deliberate massacre of 38,000 civilians an incident. Thrax's scales shifted colors, a Zanari sign of distress. It was a military decision made in the context of war. We did not understand the full implications. You understood perfectly, Sarah said. You received Captain Rodriguez's transmissions. You heard him tell you there were children aboard. You knew that ship was protected by galactic law. You fired anyway because you thought human lives were worthless. You thought we would accept your atrocity and do nothing. Admiral, please, we can negotiate. The Zanari Empire will accept any reasonable terms. Sarah leaned forward. Here are my terms, Commander Thrax. The Zanari Empire will cease to exist. Every military vessel will be destroyed. Every space station will be reduced to debris. Every shipyard will burn. Every colony will be occupied. Your species will be scattered across the galaxy as refugees, remembering forever what happens when you murder humanity's compassion. That is genocide, Thrax protested. The Galactic Council will never allow. The Galactic Council stood aside while you slaughtered medical personnel and wounded children, Sarah said coldly. They offered us words of sympathy and urged restraint. They told us to be compassionate. But compassion died 48 hours ago, Commander. What remains is justice. Cold, final, absolute. The Zanari taught us mercy is weakness. We are showing them what strength without mercy